Oh, how about Arkansas? I mean, would this not be such a Coach Cal thing to show up in Arkansas, have the regular season that he had, the start that he had, and make the Final Four anyway as a 10 seed? Don't you think?
Such a coach Cal thing, right?
Right?
Lose games you're supposed to win games you're supposed to lose. And that's if you do it for as long as he has. Um, and look, I mean, Calipari, I took plenty of shots at him this season. I thought he got an unfair rap at Kentucky, but first of all, let's start with that, by the way. I mean, how about giving him the credit? He didn't get fired at Kentucky. He could still be there. But he had the foresight and the humility to say, you know what, I need a change. Now, he obviously wasn't going to go just anywhere, so he went into a really good situation because John Tyson, the billionaire of Tyson Foods, said, "We'll give you." It's all about NIL money, as you well
It's a
know.
lot of
But
chicken, Seth. That's a lot of chicken.
a lot of chicken.
It's
Yes,
a
yes,
lot
I
of
love.
chicken.
Who doesn't love chicken?
Please.
Who doesn't love chicken?
Yes.
But just to have that wherewithal to make that move, that's pretty impressive. Probably didn't get enough credit for that. But look, I took plenty of shots at him like everybody else, and he deserved it because they were playing terribly. And you wondered about his roster construction. You wondered about, is he playing a modern style and with the analytics and everything? And then they lose their freshman point guard, Boogie Flan. They're 0-5 in the SEC. Then they go 1-6 in the SEC, and he's walking into Rupp Arena to face a Kentucky team that has it rolling. And what does he do? He wins the game. And ever since then, they've been off and running. And I guess what I'm driving at, Rich, is they wouldn't have made this turnaround if he really and truly did make it all about him. Like he's out there and he's an easy target. He's like a pinata. We all take our shots at him. But inside that locker room, you have to keep the belief of your players. And they won't give you that belief if they think you want to make it all about you. And so I give him enormous credit for holding that program and that locker room together. And by the way, their leading scorer and rebounder, Dude Thero, hasn't been playing. He's got a hyperextended knee. He may be able to get back in the lineup this week. They back Boogie Flan. So the Arkansas team that's going to take the court against Texas Tech might not be the same Arkansas team we've been seeing the last few weeks. It's a great, great story.
Yeah, that's going to be in San Francisco later on this week. I guess the most Coach Cal thing wouldn't just make the Final Four. He'd make the final game against Kentucky. Now that, because that's in the ether. I mean, I know that's unlikely, but that's in the ether still. Like it is possible. So would a matchup between my alma mater and Michigan State for the right to go to the Final Four, which would be kind of sick. But, obviously there's a big but with Michigan taking on Auburn first up, coming up in Atlanta. What are this one's for me. What do you think the odds are of that? Like, what's Michigan's chances here to keep moving on against Auburn, Seth?
They have a solid chance. I mean, I would pick Auburn maybe to win the game, but Auburn's had kind of an interesting season, Rich. One thing is, not said enough about Auburn. They only have one player on this team. Tahad Pettiford is a freshman point guard, comes off the bench. He's really good. He's the only top 30 recruit on this team. Everybody else was either under the radar or they transferred in. I mean, Janai Broom spent his first two college seasons at Morehead State. And they got guys transferring in from a D2 school, junior college, mid-major schools. So they've had that chip, but then they were just blasting everybody. I mean, they lose 3 out of 4 games coming into the tournament, and they were still the #1 overall seed in the tournament. That's how far ahead of everybody they were and they've been. And, people don't like, when folks like me talk about this SEC conference being historically great. Well, they got 7 teams in the Sweet 16. So again, your buddy Ken Palm maybe had that right too. But my point is that they carried that mantle as this sort of aura of invincibility through the SEC, through the season. And I think it wore on them. I think they lost that edge, that competitive edge of, hey, we're a bunch of mid-major dogs who don't belong here. Like, it's kind of hard to make that argument when you're the favorite. And, Janai Broom, for as brilliant as he's been, the last few weeks has been a little kind of mortal. And that can get you, through a second round win over Creighton. But now you're in the later rounds. The thing about Michigan that I really respect, Rich, is this team has developed a physicality and a toughness that they didn't have early in the season. And that's a credit to Dusty May. Now, their guard play is still going to be, a little bit of a concern. Their turnovers is definitely a concern. Part of the reason why they commit so many turnovers is they have the ball in the hands of Danny Wolf all the time. 7-foot Jewish guy, by the way, Rich. That's a win for the tribe. There weren't a lot of those at summer camp. There weren't a lot of those at Trails End and Equinox. But they're kind of nasty. They're kind of nasty. They've developed the physical. When they beat Maryland in the Big Ten tournament on that buzzer beater from Trey Donaldson, they crushed them on the boards. So Auburn is now going to have to deal with Michigan's physicality. Now Michigan's going to have to take care of the ball. They were the worst turnover team in the Big Ten, and you don't want to be that against Auburn because that's like an automatic points at the other end of the court. But they're in the game for a reason. They've played really, really good basketball. Obviously, we're terrific during the Big Ten tournament, and you've got to feel like you got a chance in this one, legitimately.
Yeah. Bruce Pearl does look like a guy who I would try to beat in intercamp games, though. And it's interesting. Yes. Danny Wolf and Bruce Pearl on Shabbat night. That is big for the tribe as well, Seth.
That's right. But we also got Todd Golden is in the tribe, and of course John Shire.
That's right.
So
look at us.
If all three of them get there, we have a million.
Close. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.